Yo, what's up guys? Bill here, Classic Rock and Metal Review. Time for everyone's favorite band. Triple unboxing for you for the band America. One of my favorites. They've just been that way for 35 years now, actually, since around the late 80s. This will be Corner Clean Out Volume 2, trying to get all the stuff that I've collected this year and not even got up onto the shelves, at least out of that dusty corner and up onto some shelves. And maybe even play some of them, for a change. And actually, so far it's not going too well. I snagged one of these out of that corner that you're about to see. Since then, 2 more things have arrived, so going backwards. But that's all right. So these are 3 fairly recent titles, okay? One of them's on the newer side. One, I think, last year, earlier this year maybe, I'm not even sure, but they're all pretty recent, okay, as far as these updated versions go. So I've heard 2 of them. I'll give you feedback on those. We'll just take a look at the other. This is folk rock / pop soft rock band America. They're really a little hard to sort of label. They kind of changed their style a little bit through the years. This would be 2 albums and 2 CDs. That's right, nice combo pack in there. So I'll explain when we get to that. And America's done one of these sort of things before, not too long ago. So we'll show you that for starters. Some nice packaging jobs here. The last title in particular, reproduction of their 77 album. And let's start off with some breakfast, don't you think? It's about time. It's like 12:20, okay? I've been up since 4 a.m. But we're going to go in for some Cape May Brewing Seaseeker. I had one of these the other day. It's 8% and it's delicious, but it is very much on the juicy side, which I'm totally up for right now. I'm not a super juicy guy. If I'm in the mood, I'm in the mood right now. It's like my morning orange juice, how I'm looking at it. So, all right, let's pop that puppy and get some material going. Whoa, almost spilled that initial porridge there. I'm getting a little low sugar here, I think. This should replenish. It does look good. And it does taste great. It's just decidedly on the juicy side. And let's see, what do we got? Waves and waves of tropical haze is what they say about this one. And yeah, I'd agree with that. Orangey, okay, just like you'd expect with orange colored scheme can there. Yeah, toast to all you guys. Happy Thanksgiving. I know I won't get this up until later this weekend, but Thanksgiving weekend. Good one to all yous, hopefully. All right, so America, trio of American English guys. I guess you'd say some of their parents were English, some of them American. They met in the UK in the late 60s. All their parents were in the military, stationed there, and they played on and off with one another in the late 60s, but not necessarily forming the band America until 1970. In fact, this is the one I wanted to show you before we jump into these releases, is that, and I'll never forget this being the first sort of happy thing that happened after COVID hit in March of 2020. Maybe a week or 2 later, this got announced that it would be coming out, I think, in May or something. But it's Jerry Beckley's solo record. Okay, released a 7-song collection, released in 2020. And no Dewey on here, no Dewey Bunnell, but Dan Peek is on here. They don't even have specifics as to where, but I do hear his voice in 1 or 2 songs, and it does sound like his guitar playing style. He played the most lead guitar, that initial trio of America, and I kind of hear him like jamming on here a little bit. Wanted to just show you this, guys, as a reference for one of the titles we're about to look at. 10-inch vinyl, 7-song. It's a 45 RPM, okay? Discovering America, the name of that guy. 180 gram, that's kind of cool. Would have forgotten that. And, okay, 7 songs. Now, these are actually songs where Jerry was going for like a songwriter sort of job. And he was submitting these, I guess, as his demo tape, so forth. There's even a Coca-Cola jingle on here. It's about 2 minutes long. And it's actually pretty good, pretty catchy, I'm assuming they never used it. Okay, I don't even remember that much. But this packaging is really nice. The hype sticker, decent thickness on the quality of the outer sleeve. The inner sleeve is almost as thick as the outer sleeve, and all the gory details there of the times, which I haven't read this since I got it. But it does sort of retrace, what was going on with the band and what I just told you about how they knew each other but hadn't really formed a band yet in the late 60s. I don't know if it gives you specific dates anyway, but there's the record. But what's cool about it, which I noticed right away, and to think the whole thing was only $20, came with a CD version of it too, which was right up my alley, Listen to it at home with the vinyl and then take it with you on the road, So that's, I thought, was a pretty cool thing to do. Jerry Beckley's the blonde of that initial trio. He sung Sister Goldenhair, I Need You. For completists only, I'll admit, on that Discovering America, but consider me a completist when it comes to these guys. So I absolutely love the fact you got a CD with that. You just don't see that a whole lot, right? Not enough. So let's start with today's first of the three. I think it's time to sip it. Get all foamed up. I'll just have to wipe my face off. Yes. Doesn't taste as juicy as I remembered. I think it gets a little juicier on the way down. But Cape May Brewing, some damn good beer. Ever in the area. All right, so first release. This one actually first came out on Record Store Day 2022. This is live at Goodbye Summer Festival, South London. It was held on September 18th, 1971. Charity show, famine in Bangladesh, okay? Funny thing, I never even heard of this concert, though, until this release. But then just a few months ago, The Who releasing Live at the Oval, the name of the venue there where this was held, and heard another mention of that Goodbye Festival at that time. And then there was even another mention, and I don't remember, but I think there's somebody else that has another release related to this concert. So kind of out of nowhere. I don't know if these tapes were just found a few years ago or what have you. News to me. And Faces and Mott the Hoople, Atomic Rooster was there, so a couple others. But Up and Comers America, of all people, okay? Because why do I say that? This concert's held in summer of 71. They didn't even have an album out yet. That would be early 72 on the record. Although there was a different date for UK, so maybe their album had just come out. Perhaps came out earlier in the UK. I think it may have, but I don't think quite yet. Not in September of 71. And there is an announcement on there. I listened to this guy, where the introduction for America includes, let's give it up for Mott the Hoople. That's going to be a tough act to follow. So sticking an acoustic trio on after Mott the Hoople, that almost doesn't seem fair. But they get pretty much appreciative applause. I mean, the crowd's not losing their mind, but no one's booing them or anything. It's a good little concert at 7 songs, not earth-shattering. The band's just an acoustic trio, no backing band at all. And some of the songs on here, most of them would be on the first album. And they sound like they haven't even been recorded in a way. Some of these songs are shorter, different structures, Come the Sudden Stops after, say, 4 bars at the end instead of fading off, with a dozen bars. So little changes, but not a whole heck of a lot as far as the songs that we know from the first album. Those being Riverside Sandman, 3 Roses, I Need You, and Everyone I Meet Is From California was the flip side of the Horse with No Name single. The sound quality, it's good, it's not great. No glitches or anything, but it's pretty just bare bones, straight up recording. I'm sure they tried improving it so that even still, doesn't sound amazing, but cool little concert, And there is the rarity Sea of Destiny on here, which I have on some other America archival alternate CDs that they put out. And that is, I think, maybe the best of all their alternate songs that are out there. Sea of Destiny really has grown on me. It's taken a little while to get to the point where I'm saying that, though. It's been one of many alternate unreleased songs that I've collected over the last, say, decade or so. But that probably is the best of them. So that's kind of cool. And also you have Submarine Ladies, which wouldn't be recorded by the band until the '73 album Hat Trick. So 2 full years ahead for Submarine Ladies is kind of cool. And it's a little different structure too, all right, than what it would be on the Hat Trick album. Live at Goodbye Summer '71, nice hype sticker. And also, like that Jerry Beckley release, comes with a CD copy. That's just great, man. How do you resist, If you're a big fan and you get something on vinyl and it comes with a CD too on top of it. How often are these things sold separately? And just really cool. It kind of amazes me how these bands who aren't like making big bank can afford to do stuff like this, UFO does a Strangers in the Night box set for 30 and change, puts every show in there, 8 CDs, and then we get stuff from bands like, Sabbath, Live Evil Deluxe set, just the same concert twice pretty much. I don't know. Can't you just give us all the shows? Can't you give us an album and put the CD in there too? That's just, never ceases to amaze me how these bands that aren't exactly raking it in can afford to do things much more popular and richer bands don't do for us. Soapbox moment over. All right, let me get a sip of this, John. It's more for nutrition than alcohol, okay? I'm starving and thirsty. Here's something that just came out, I think, in the last couple of weeks or so. Hearts band's 5th album, 1975, 50th anniversary edition. And for my money, I think the first 3 albums by the band are their best, but then right behind them is Hearts from '75 and then probably Harbor from '77. Gun to my head, I'd probably give it the Hearts though. So it is one of their best albums and solid, great album. Known for Sister Golden Hair, went to #1. Daisy Jane also did some chart damage, I believe, and the song Woman Tonight's on the greatest hits, and I think got a lot more exposure from being on America's Greatest Hits than in and of itself. But everything on here is really good or excellent, no nonsense, no filler on this record at all. So why would I buy this? I already have this. I actually have a really cool, I think it's a 1990 Japanese edition of this album. All right, I bought this back in like '92. Kind of cool. I bought their first 7 albums, except for the debut at that point, 6 of them. And this one comes with a bonus track called Simple Life. Really good song, Dan Peake song. And otherwise it looks like a basic Warner. But you could not get these CDs domestically at all. They just weren't even released until later on. And that was a short-lived individual jewel case kind of thing. You can get them still as like 5-in-1 box kind of thing, the Warner years and so on. But individual jewel cases, there might have been some Warner archives out there for a short while. They quickly went out of print also. So let's get back into Hearts. Getting off track there. I've been listening to this week a couple of times. It's not remastered. It doesn't say that anywhere, or remixed. It's definitely not remixed, but it doesn't even say remastered. But this thing sounds really, really good. I don't know. I guess just sometimes things just sound good just from technology. I'm not even sure if it's not remastered why it seems to sound. It sounds a little different to me than the CD I'm used to from Japan. This thing really sounds kind of warm and kind of bassy, but still excellent, really. No knock on it, but it does feel a little different than my Japan CD. And there's a look at the back cover. I always felt that the album before it, Holiday, with Tin Man and Lonely People on it, that album does feel really warm and bassy. First one with George Martin producing. And that whole album feels that way. Well, now this album kind of feels that way. All right? Hearts kind of feels like the production of Holiday. Not that that's a knock on it. It's just a little different. The original one that I was used to from Japan is a little brighter. but still sounded excellent. No knock on how that sounded. It's just a different sound. And there's the inside. You got the Hearts emblem right on the disc. Behind it, the Golden Gate Bridge that was on the inner sleeve of the record. You do get some album credits on the inner fold digipack here, as you can see. Seems to be of a standard, good quality. And the booklet's kind of cool. This is the other side of the inner sleeve on the vinyl. That picture of the band. No lyrics, but a little write-up. Lots of quotes in there from Jerry and Dewey about the recording of this album. And I didn't read it all, but I did notice Jerry mentioning that the band was still very much tight at the time, had quite a camaraderie, being from the military background and parents and moving around, the nomadic life as he calls it, and still fully intact at the point of Hearts. So it does sound that way. This album is really just full of great songs. The bonus tracks are my main reason to snag this album, since I already have it as a regular record. So some great alternates on here. There really are. The People in the Valley on here is just awesome. It's, quite different. It comes to this point of the song where it just breaks and goes off into a completely different thing that only lasts maybe 10 seconds or so, but it's just so different than the rest of the song. But then comes back around to that alternate part twice. And man, that is just probably one of my favorite America alternates so far. Almost a synthy sort of fuzzy guitar, more like straight ahead demo like drumming as opposed to the sort of timed rolls. But a completely new part that stuck in my head for days and had me go back to this album. I listened to the whole thing all the way through and I was ready to just shelve it, come back to it some other day. And I'm like, I kind of need to hear that People in the Valley alternate again. And when I did that, I let all the alternates roll through, and Midnight is actually really, really cool. Only this gorgeous 3-part harmony and strings are here. So all the band instruments are really just wiped away. It really creates this sort of mysterious, dreamy, almost like disturbing kind of vibe, in some way, to feel a song now. It's great already. It's great as the regular version, but who knew that less is best, when it comes to certain songs. And really shows off sort of George Martin's string arrangement prowess. Really good one, Midnight. On the opposite side of things, other bonuses like the song Seasons and the late Dan Peek's Old Virginia, they're stripped of the strings. Both of them at first seemed like sort of unnecessary bonuses in a way, but, just merely removing the strings. Second listen, I actually kind of like them. They are legit alternates, which you might not catch the first time around. Second time around, you're kind of like, these are kind of interesting to hear this way. So I kind of went back for more People in the Valley and ended up digging pretty much all the bonus tracks. A lot more in that second listen. Now, the Spanish version of Sister Golden Hair, I don't feel like pronouncing that. That's something I only need to hear once, I just don't know how people in non-English speaking countries are such big fans of English speaking music. I just don't get it. But I guess if you know the song good enough, you'll start speaking English, So anyway, kind of cool. You got a little hype sticker with it. Pretty cool. Nice booklet with it and quality, decent quality digipack packaging. Okay, now they're actually releasing this or just released this on Record Store Day, Black Friday 2025. It will be on vinyl though, translucent red vinyl, 50th anniversary edition of Hearts. And that's only coming with 2 bonus tracks, those being the Spanish Sister Golden Hair and Simple Life, which is one of the first things I noticed about this 50th anniversary. It does not have Simple Life like this 1990 Japan CD does. That's kind of shitty. Like, why aren't you releasing a whole damn new song to America that only got released in Japan? Here's your chance. 50th anniversary, doing all these alternate versions, alternate sort of remixes. Throw the bonus track, the true bonus track on there. Gotta call my boys on that one. All right? So that's the Hearts 50th anniversary. It's not remastered, but damn, it sounds great. And almost seems like it is to me, to be honest. All right, finally, another sweet find. This was from earlier this year. There's a copy of this at my local record store. It's 40 bucks, okay? I'm not paying that. I'm sorry. But I came across it on Collector's Music Choice in their bargain bin somehow. I don't know how I stumbled across it, but must have been perusing that. So I have an album of this that's used. I purchased in the late 80s. All right, I think it's an original album, okay? I have, like I said, all their older albums used that I bought in the late 80s. They all sound great, except this one. Now, I don't know if it just got played a lot before I owned it, plus I've played it a bunch of times, and it just sounds a little harsh, a little distorted, just the way an album gets when it's overplayed. So there wasn't a kind of a reason for me to go for a newer, updated version of 1977's Harbor. Their final album as a trio, the original trio. So the original came with a poster. And one other difference, the America was not on the actual cover. That's just on the shrink wrap. That's why I'm keeping that shitty looking shrink wrap on this thing. It's the only way to have the album and band title on this thing. So keeping that together, and now it's on an outer sleeve and what have you. There's the back of that. That's an original press, Warner Brothers. Okay, so here in 2022, the band put out limited edition. Was it 40? I'm trying to think what anniversary that would be. 45? I'm trying to do this math. Not working right now. Anyway, 1,500 of these were pressed. The label is Music on Vinyl. Along with Hearts, I would say, like I said, second tier greatness by this band. Not quite as awesome as the first three, but almost. This album quickly grew on me, though, when I got this back in the late 80s. Man, I think it's pretty damn solid. You go back for a handful of songs, next thing you know, you're liking the whole thing. I really like the whole record. But so let's just dive into this. Some good stuff on here. I showed you this earlier in the year. I still haven't opened it, so I have to check it out myself. But let's see, God of the Sun, really good song on there. Political Poachers, Sergeant Darkness is really good. They're the ones you'll like at first, and then, like I said, the original, eventually the rest of the record grows on you. So right away I notice you got this hype sticker that's only on this like super thick sort of lining, So it's not quite, it's more of a like outer sleeve than it is shrink wrap, okay? And there's that. The now we're just right on the record, okay? It's not a sticker anymore. Okay, so little differences there. You got your numbered action down on the bottom. This is number 368, MOV, Music on Vinyl. Let's see what's doing in here. Record is coming out in, cool, looks like a polyline sleeve. That's kind of nice. And part of it was, let's see what exactly they call it. As you can see, we're on yellow vinyl. But what do they call it? Transparent yellow, colored vinyl. I like how colored is spelled English. L-O-U-R-E-D. Oh, that's pretty cool looking, man. Wow. Looks nuclear. All right. Pretty sharp. All right. Got the sort of, looks very reminiscent of some of the versions of the Warner Brothers albums by America, but the logo's a little smaller, band logo. Okay, so there's that. Let's see what's doing inside. It's not a gatefold, but I used to have this poster up on a wall, like at where the band practice kind of thing. So here is, this used to be the inner sleeve. Big poster there. The band recorded this album in Hawaii. They went to a different location to record every album. That's kind of cool. Let's get some inspiration. Colorado, English countryside. I'm trying to think where Hearts was, San Fran. Okay, so Harbor in Hawaii. The last album is the original trio. So, and then let's see. Poster's in here, but man, it's folded up really small. Just to give you the size perspective. Not folded like the size of the album, maybe 2/3. But yeah, I used to have this thing up where we practiced. Anaheim Stadium, I'll find you a picture of it. The one side has a whole collage, band in Hawaii. And where's that one picture? No, I remember this poster well now that I'm looking at it. And the other shot, the other side rather, band playing Anaheim something or other stadium in '76, part of a festival. Sure, I'll admit that much. They weren't playing that place by themselves. But anyway, kind of cool. All right, nice job. $11. Come on, how you saying no to that? All right, man, that's it. That's a little unboxing for America's Harbor. I really recommend that album, but even more so Hearts. And that new production sounds great, although it's, I guess, not remastered, but sounds like it is to me. By the way, I forgot to mention, oh, here it is. Holiday Harmony just got re-released. This is the 2002 Christmas album. Has 3 original songs on it that are really good. And just got a re-release like in October. And I advise you to check this one out. But I'll tell you, as big a fan as I am of these guys, the first time I heard it, I was a little put off by it. They have snippets of their own originals mixed into these traditional Christmas songs. It's a little weird at first. It took me a whole year to go back to it, which would be last year. And man, I just fell in love with this album. It's really good, and you kind of like hearing those little bits of America classics in there. So just re-released, although I think this edition had a bonus track, 14 songs. I think the newer one is the standard version again. And I think it's on vinyl or CD. If you're looking for some new America holiday music or just rock holiday music, check that one out, Holiday Harmony. Guys, that's going to do it. Let me get back to breakfast, all right? Try working on this corner full of shit again. Box sets. I'm getting all the box sets that have come in the house the last few days, and some that are in that corner, they're getting shown next. Cleaning out the corner, all right? Volume 3 coming soon. Guys, I'll see you all later, everyone. Hope you had a good holiday weekend. Catch us.